Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. If you listen to the men and women of prophet, and I say men and women, you know, the masters would say the men of prophet, but I figure since women want equality, there's women who are out there that are just as capitalistic as men, so, you know, we all want equality, so we get an equal amount of blame for this. But the men and women of prophet, if you were to ask them what's the most destructive thing in the world, they would tell you that losing money would be hands down the worst thing that could possibly happen. Why? Because their livelihood depends on it, right? They want to continue to make money. They want to increase their wealth, increase their power, and so forth. So when the men and women of prophet are asked to make changes so that the environment will get better and we won't harm the environment, they of course will tell you that's the worst thing we could possibly do because it would cost too much money. They scare the ever-loving crap out of everybody. That's what they did back, 10 or 11 years ago when all the bailouts happened in the United States, that if we don't fix the problem right now and give this money to the banks, we are all going under. It's going to be worse than the dark ages of, circa, 1200 to 1400 AD, right? And so they just do that to scare the ever-loving shit out of you, really. So, and then what happened? They gave you the money and then they turned around and bought all these banks. I mean, I tell you what, man, it is crazy what people get away with, right? And then the same thing if you ask them to change their priorities and share a little bit of their profits with those that actually even help them make the profit, they refuse to do that. Most companies refuse to do that. And I remember reading something about something, kind of along these lines when a reporter for Newsweek asked the then CEO, Michael Eisner of Disney, who was making $380 grand a day 20-something years ago, which is a lot today, let alone back then. And if he could just give up just a little bit, not even all of it, just like $20,000 or $30,000 a day, so he would still be making $350,000 a day or whatever it is, that they could modernize the plants, that they make all the plush toys for Disney in Vietnam, give these people a decent wage so they could have a better life for them and their families, give them ventilation in these sweatshops, healthcare and stuff. And he told them no. So when we ask the men and women of prophet, and I include our politicians of today, because there's very, very, very few politicians that I think really stand for the people. Most of them are standing for the corporations. So they vote and their decision making is all based on how much money they're going to make and line their pockets, but also how much money the corporations are going to make. And then the people are left holding the bag in a very real sense. So when we ask these men and women of prophet to change their ways, of course they're going to scare you and tell you that's the worst thing you could possibly do to help the environment. Oh, that's going to cost us way too much money, which is going to lead to downsizing and people will be out of work and it will be just total anarchy if we help the environment. It's a lie. They're doing it because they don't want to lose any money for themselves. They probably realize that they're hurting the environment. But yet they deny it to you because they know, and me and everybody, because they know that it would mean the end of their profit making, or less of their profit making. Not even sometimes the end of it. Sometimes it's just making less, just a little sometimes. Then they won't give that up, right? Now, according to Maitreya and the Masters, the exact opposite is true. That the worst thing we could do is follow along the path of commercialization, because Maitreya says within the structure, or within the economic way of that we're doing today of capitalism and commercialization, lies within it the seeds of a third world war. He says it's more destructive than an atomic bomb. So why do we continue to listen to these people that don't have our best interests at heart? And, even with healthcare, it's like so many of my very capitalistic friends who think that healthcare should stay the same as it is in this country. Well, they'll talk about it, and then they'll have a situation come up for themselves, and they're, they have to pay through the nose for a procedure so that they can get the health care that they need. And then they complain about that, and then they go right back to saying that we have the best health care and insurance program in the entire world. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe somebody will be able to explain it to me one day, but I just don't understand that line of thinking because it doesn't make any real freaking sense, So the masters are going to be advocating that we change our ways, that we share the world's resources, that we stop, abusing the environment. So we need, as a people, to stop listening to these people that don't have our best interests at heart. Their only interest is interest, making money. And that's why we all need to stand up and as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.